Okay guys, so the first step we're gonna do is we are going to inject our pork butt today. This is a store-bought Mojo marinade, but it is the original Mojo marinade. I'm currently located in Texas. You can find them at your local Texas grocery store, but if you're not in Texas, don't worry, I have a link in my description where you can snag your own. I'll go into details about this Mojo marinade in a minute, but let's talk about our pork butt. Now this specific pork butt is actually boneless. I didn't realize I grabbed a boneless one when I was at Costco, but that's okay. It's still gonna come out good. Now I prefer this injecting bottle because it's actually a screw-on. It's a 2-to-1, so you can use it as a spritzer and an injector. So once you got your equipment all set up, make sure you get most of the air bubbles out of the actual syringe tube, and then we can get to pumping. You can definitely also brine if you don't have an injector. You'll just need a lot of Mojo marinade. Main reason why you want to inject a pork butt is for flavor versus moisture. 9 out of 10 times, most backyard barbecuers will produce a juicy pork butt. But because it's so thick, sometimes you can't get that flavor within the meat. So injecting is a good tool to make sure you get all that flavor within all that pork butt. Just to be clear, I'm talking about seasonings and the flavor profile you're going for. I also don't normally inject my pork butts. The only time I ever inject pork or poultry is when I'm trying to reach a specific flavor profile. Which brings us to the Mojo marinade. I am very picky when it comes to seasonings and marinades. I will not promote any seasonings or marinade companies if I truly do not like them, which is why I'm showing you and speaking about this specific brand. I love supporting small businesses. I consider myself a small business as well. So if you don't have the time to make a Mojo marinade, don't know how, don't sleep on this company, guys. They also have some pretty killer barbecue rubs too. But anyways, back to the pork butt. You are going to pump this pork butt until you start to see that meat rise. Just a pro tip, don't just stab your pork butt and inject it. Pay attention to where you're actually injecting into the meat. You don't want to necessarily pump into a big piece of fat. You want to make sure that you're pumping into the meat. You also want to make sure that you're pumping in evenly throughout the meat. You want to keep pumping into one specific spot until the marinade basically comes back out. That pretty much covers the basics of injecting protein. So let's talk about seasonings. My full ingredient list will be down below, along with some helpful links and discount codes because I want to save y'all some money. I'm keeping the seasonings basic: garlic powder, onion powder, and for my personal preference, orange pepper. You can definitely also use an all-purpose rub or even a Mojo rub. Lechonerna actually has a Mojo rub, so I'll make sure and include that down below. I chose to use orange pepper because I just really like an orangey, citrusy taste to my Mojo, regardless what kind of protein it is, chicken, pork, whatever. Again, this is a personal preference. You can absolutely season it how you want. Okay, so that pretty much covers the prep of this Mojo style pork butt. The last thing we're gonna do is allow it to sit for about 30 minutes before we actually throw it onto the smoker. This gives the juices time to redistribute into the pork butt. If you're on a time crunch, you can let it sit for at least 15 minutes, but shoot for 30. Now it's time to head outside. Today I'm using Oklahoma Joe's signature lump charcoal on the Oklahoma Joe's Tahoma 900. I'm gonna do a 2-to-1 ratio of lump charcoal to apple wood chips. If you have the smoker, this is how your hopper should look. Allow your smoker to preheat to 250 degrees. Once your smoker is up to temp, go ahead and add your pork butt. We are going to smoke this at 250 degrees for the first 4 hours undisturbed. That means no peeking. Just let it do its thing. After 4 hours, the pork butt has retained as much smoke as it can. Now we're going to focus on keeping the bark moist. Using a simple solution of water, Mojo marinade, and orange juice to spritz our pork butt. Give it a good spritz and close the lid. Once your pork butt has reached the stall, you can rise the temperature to 275 degrees to help you get through the stall. Don't forget to keep that bark moist. Spritz every hour. If you want to monitor your stall, go ahead and insert a wireless probe, but we are going to continue smoking until probe tender. My pork butt was probe tender at an internal temp of 201. As soon as I picked this pork butt up, I felt exactly how rendered it was. I'm going to add it to a disposable pan and wrap. Allowing your pork butt to rest properly is another crucial step in the smoking process. I'm going to allow it to rest until it drops to an internal temp of 155 degrees. And this is my fully rested Mojo styled pork butt. Now please learn from my mistakes. I forgot to put on heat resistant gloves. Even though I let this pork butt rest to an internal 155, it was still pretty hot. So don't forget heat resistant gloves. But anyways, back to the pork butt, I want to show y'all the results. Just like a regular pulled pork, it should melt in your hands, and the moisture is all there. As you can see, even though we injected it, it didn't change the internal color of the pork butt. Now it's time to shred the rest, and that pretty much wraps up this video. You can enjoy this pulled pork straight, or you can even make a Cubano sandwich with pulled pork ham, mustard, pickles, you know the drill. Or you can switch it up and make a burrito bowl like I did, where you can build your own burrito bowl to your desired happiness. You don't have to feel awkward asking for extra sides and protein. Yes, shade was thrown. I'm just kidding. If there's anything I didn't answer or you had any questions, make sure you leave them down below in the comments. Don't forget to check out the links in the description. And hello, save this recipe. Labor Day is around the corner, so stock up while you can. And hey, maybe there'll be some Labor Day deals. I don't know, just saying. As always, thank you so much. I appreciate any support, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, guys, enjoy, and happy Labor Day.